Hi, it's David here with Futures Trading. I want to celebrate each and every one of you who came on board since the last video, and thank you to all of you who actually hit the like button there. I told you I needed you guys' help, and you stepped right in there and shared the information because that's what that is doing is helping other people find the information that they need. Be what you would like to see in the world. That's important. Thank you so much, Santiago. Yes, all we have to do is count. Jimmy, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you being here, my friend. And then Dimitri, yes, my friend. Yeah, they doing that today too. The nonsense. All right, so I don't know your name, but thank you so much. Yes, please watch this information, recite it every day if you can, as you look at the chart. Just say, "Hey, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that." And then, yes, Brad. Yes, I'm so glad you're here. Big wig, little wig. Yes, sir, my friend. That's important. I want to celebrate each and every one of you. If you are in the market for additional information, I do offer that. You don't have to proceed any further than what's free. Free should stabilize your trading, but I do encourage you to further your education, even if it's not with me. Don't pay the market, and definitely don't pay the prop firms. They're training you psychologically to be afraid of risk, and that's why I'm absolutely against that. But further your education, it's important that you do so. And if you are in the market, I do have it available half off of the education as well as the indicators. For those that are already here, for those that's here, I do have additional videos. If you do not already have access to these videos, I could send you a PayPal invoice for $100, and you can absolutely be a part of this information here. If you're coming on new, it will be half off, but you would have to pay an additional $100 for these videos, which will be just $600. All right, so $600. They're doing a professional signature that they did in yesterday's video. They're actually doing it today too. We got to see how it's going to play out, though. All right. So before they took that big run, I covered that yesterday in yesterday's video. But yes, if you want to further your education, I strongly suggest you do so because the market is full of professionals. All right. So there's no sectioning off. You can't go be with the beginners or the intermediates. You have to be with professionals. I paid the market to learn. And so I'm willing to share some of that information with you. I'm going to get right into it right now. The live threshold. So the universal part is it's applicable to all cases. So and that's important because it doesn't matter which asset class, what time frame it's applicable. Live threshold, how far the bar will pull back before it resumes the price action trend. You only need to be able to count to 10 in order to pull this off. Then that price action method, I utilize the majority principle because majority principle states that the minority must follow. And I'm going to show you three different ways to look at that. We're going to talk about the swings in the market. So they do these really big, broad swings, and we're going to use that majority principle in dealing with that. The chart scale, so the hard right edge of your chart, I teach you how to read that bezel so you'll know where the market can become cyclical. All right, so now this is the threshold. This is the threshold from the daily. So this is that where the live daily bar can pull into. So that green line, red line, that's a part of this market analyzer. So you get this with the indicator suite. And again, it can be used on the free version of NinjaTrader. So you don't have to pay for a license. You don't have to do that. You can get the free version of NinjaTrader, chart my indicators, and trade on the platform of your choice. This and the indicators $100, 300 indicators in there, and market analyzer, templates, sound files. You get a lot of stuff. But yes, this is the threshold information here that you would have. So you'll know kind of where the market can wick out. So you want to see if the daily bar can turn into a wick. This will kind of tell you where that's going to happen at. This is tomorrow's information, which will probably be relative based on today's information anyway. All right. So that's what I want you to know. Now, when it comes to, I'm going to show you this, then we're going to go to let's take a peek at that before we even get started. Let's just take a peek because I want to dive into that as well. But I had an email sent to me this morning. I definitely want to point out to my friend there is that this is how you would find your trend. I'm going to do this really, really quick. We got 7 bars. They need to close lower than the prior. You're ignoring anyone that's in between. So we would go 5, 6, and that's 7. All right. So that's what we're doing. And then when it comes to the uptrend, I want to put this in front of you. 1, 2, 3. They have to close higher. This right here, you have to ignore this. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a seventh one in here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7. All right, so 7 here. So you're ignoring anything in between. The market isn't progressing. So whenever you have a thought, you have the end in mind. And so unless you're moving towards what it is that you're wanting to acquire, there's no progression made in that direction. All right. So you want to make sure that the market is actually progressing towards a trend. Okay. It has to make the trend because everything is thought, action, habit, character. And then, of course, you have your destination of where you want to be. And so you can have an idea. You have to begin to work that idea. You got to work on it. All right. And then inevitably you will end up where you're going. But all ideas have the end in mind. So the end is present with the thought. And so you have your center of your trend, which is kind of the primary and secondary value. And we always tend to go with the primary thing. We always want to, go with the thing that means the most. Well, the trend kind of does the same thing. And so most of the time you'll see the market somewhat respond around the center of the trend, right? It'll respond right around the center of that trend. All right. So now I did try to mark all these trends in here for you. I tried my best here. So let's get to real time. Then I'm going to show you. I want to show you what they're doing right now first. It's important what they did over here. It's important what they did over here. I'm going to show you on the other chart, but I'm going to throw it in here real quick. You see this drop down here when they took off running and stopped up here. The midpoint, I'm not worried about this. The midpoint here is above this high. Okay. Okay. So they can respond respectfully down here. They can. All right. I'm just kind of throw this in here. Then we're gonna go to our other chart there, and I'm gonna show you some other information. First, I'm gonna give it to you this way, and then we'll go over there. I'm not gonna be before you long, just a few minutes. If you don't mind, please hit the like button. Let someone know that we're here because I don't pay for any likes, views, or subscribers. We want to rely on people to partner with that actually care about sharing information. All right, and of course, you could have knew all of that with all the majority principles showing up here. So the minority must follow the majority, and so we can leave it just like that. So we had the midpoint getting above the high. Okay, so we had this midpoint getting above this bar's high. We had the big wick, little wick, which the increase indicator picked that up. Okay, and that's a part of the indicator suite. And then we had the body being able to fit in there twice. So smaller body, bigger body, smaller body, bigger body, large wick, smaller wick. The increase indicator caught it. The no touch, no close bar color caught that as well. So you had all of that within these two bars. It said it would go this far. It did, but then it leaned over all three principles. Well, all three is there. Majority is shown in three different ways on the chart. Here they are. They leaned into it and then they gave it to you again. So here it is again. Follow the rules. You can look at the real time while I'm doing this, but I want to definitely give you this as well. Here's the big wick, smaller wick, the body being able to fit in there twice. Okay. Yeah, all of that. The midpoint is above the high. All of that is there, and they made it that far. All right. So from above, you can see that they turn the corner. Let's see if we got all three up here. We definitely have it here. All right, so we have all three here. Now you may get two out of the bunch. All right, you may get two out of the bunch, which is not a bad combination. I mean, two is not bad, but three just works a whole lot better. That's all. Okay, so here we go, and they're making it, and that's at the center of the chart. All right, so now I'm gonna go to the. Now you can watch this, but I'm gonna go over here and show it to you when it comes to all these different, even all of this. I'm just kind of pick this apart in the next few minutes, and then you can watch it and see what you think about it later on. There's some additional zones here. Don't worry about that. I do believe the market should get up there. That's been up there for a bit, but let's see if it can get there. So what we're doing is we're going to take our Fibonacci tool. You see this? It's just the midpoint of the fib. All right, so we're going to do this. Let me show it to you so you'll know. It's just the midpoint. How do I get to it? Is it this? Yeah. No. Oh, let me see. Price levels. Do I click on this? Yes. All right. So yes. So we're going with somewhere in here. I don't know, but I do know that's the midpoint. I don't know. Those are the fib numbers that they have on here. That's fine. But this is just the midpoint. All right. So this is just the midpoint. I forgot how I did that. I did it some time ago. So here, this run, and we're gonna deal with this too. But let me just throw this here really fast. You see how it went from red to green here. And that midpoint, the orange line exceeded this high. They can lean over and then, of course, they can move away from that. And you kind of had it here. You had it in this little area, I believe here. Let's see if we had it here. Yeah, so you had it there too. Let me put that on that high. that midpoint is above that high. They kind of leaned down and then they pushed again. All right. You just got to find where that's at. That's all. So let's see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Kind of drag this over here. Okay, you're getting it. The midpoint is above this high. They're here too, and so they leaned over. All right, let's deal with this because that's that kind of activity too. It's just it's on an incline, but it's that kind of activity in here. So in here, you had the red to the green, kind of push it up to where they stop. They stop about right here. That midpoint is above this high. Okay, it's above that high. They leaned down into it, kind of, and then pushed off to the top. Now, this zone was formed long before this drop was here. Again, I did that in the private community here. Well, I didn't do that zone, but I told them how I formed that. All right, I told them a lot of new information I put in that video. But I told them how I'm able to grab these zones, how I'm able to create these zones on this chart. All right, so and again, that's long before it takes off. All right, really important that you get that. Now here, you don't see that when those breaks are happening, you're not seeing that the midpoint is exceeding. Okay, so even this break here, you can look at that. Let's see, did we get that to work? It's kind of splitting hairs, but let's see, let's see. It didn't necessarily clear it, but it's close. It's close. You could have possibly made that work. Um, let's see here. Yeah, okay. So yeah, and they kind of leaned up there and then they dropped again. You don't have it here, clearly. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. They went from green to red. Okay, yeah, that midpoint is definitely beneath that low. They kind of lift up, push down, but then give you that new low. Here, I believe they went outside of that. Oh, they pulled up right to the back of it, kind of pushed down again. Okay, and then of course, let's see what we got here. Where they stopped. Okay, so they stopped right here. They stopped fairly well right there. And then of course this midpoint is above that pivot. They're right here responding. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, so they're right here as well. All right, so now you're kind of stuck between two scenarios for the most part. Let's go here. Again, I'm not going to be before you long. You kind of got this, which I showed you that on the other chart. And again, I'm not going to hold you long, probably about another 5 minutes. So whenever the market is doing this, when it's overlapping the activity, take the majority principle because again, the minority must follow the majority. And if you don't mind, please hit the like button or leave a comment. Let someone know that you find the information useful. Please do that. All right, so now let's just get that out the way. And that would be here. So let's do it on this chart so you can see it. And then I'll read it for about 2 bars or so. All right, a couple bars, not much. All right, so they're up here because I did it on that chart. So let me do it here. Now, the goal isn't to sell this area per se when it gets here. I mean, you have to definitely be utilizing the real time. You got to make sure you do that. I teach how to utilize the real time uh, beyond the scope. Okay, we got all of it showing up here again, saying that it will go down. All right, so all of it is here in real time. So we're just going to estimate. We got the smaller body fitting in there twice, the bigger wig, the smaller wig. I'll just try to play it, play the video until they can get right about here, and then I'll get off here at the center of the chart. Okay, so let's not disregard what's showing up here. Uh, but this is important. Give me one moment. Give me one moment. All right, so I'm back. Just give me one moment. Let's see, can we adjust this? Okay, so everything showed up. Again, my indications, oh, that's saying they'll get through that zone. Yes. So my indications again, I got over like 300 indicators. I got a lot of indicators for you. Again, increase, no touch, no close bar color, and then of course the pressures. They'll flash. You saw them flashing when that was happening. It's saying that it's going to get through that zone. So that's through this low. Again, the big wick, smaller wick, body can fit in there twice. The mid is below that low. That's saying that they can go down. Now here's your wick zone. All right. So this is the wick zone right here. All right. Now, they should come in here and kind of wick out and come back. Now, if they're going to pop up, clearly here's your wick zone for the turn. So here's your wick zone. All right. And they can kind of get, fussy in between the two. They had a wick zone here. If you're seeing all of those wicks, they had a wick zone here, but that bar isn't colored. All right. So I want to reference the bars with the majority incorporated into it. All right. And that was here. You just don't want them to hit the back of the green bar and don't want them to hit the back of the green bar. All right. So they responded here. Okay. They did respond, but let's do this because they're responding to that wick zone on this bar too. All right, so this is the wick zone. This is how far the bar will pull back. The live candle will pull back before trying to resume. In the private lessons, I teach you far more advanced information that is happening around the candle. Okay, what's happening around the candle? It's kind of like the chart scale. So this is in front of price. All right. So now when you look at price here, yes, it's at the lower part of the chart. Will it begin to get above here and try to move up here again to stop this? I don't know. I do know where they're at. I do know that much. Let's see if they can stop here at the wick zone, come back under here. Okay, so they got through this zone here. They got through it. So that's not going to work. So what we got to do is let's project this wick zone. Can they move up to the center of the chart and knock this out? I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see. But now they're in that wick zone. They're responding to this here, this wick zone here, the same as when they, of course, came down here. They responded to the wick zone here. Now I'm purposely grabbing the majority, all right, the bars that's colored, even the ones with the IN. I'm purposely grabbing the wick zone from them bars, all right. I'm purposely doing that. So they're trying to pop in here, and again, it's on every bar, so it's not just the majority on the bar. It's universal, so it can apply to any bar. But I'm purposely grabbing the bars with the color that's inside. Okay, I'm purposely doing that, or the ones with the text, so you can better see the information. So again, this lower half of the chart, and again, I'm, of course, doing an estimation with this. I don't have a ruler. I'm just doing an estimation, but they're probably going to do the majority again with all three. The Let's see if they'll wick out here. But this lower half of the chart, you can see the wick zone is falling right into that, and they kind of came into it, and then they popped up. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. All right, so yes, so they managed to fall through that. So now they're back under here. They ran into our wick zone there, and they're definitely making another scenario. All right, so that should be roughly that. The pressure is coming on, and again, all of this comes with the indicator suite. So it's meant to do all the work for you, and you can have the free version of Ninja Trader. You can have the free version of Ninja Trader, utilize my indications because that's all they are. They're indicating, they're telling you something. You can use the indications, and of course, you don't have to do the work yourself. So you don't, it takes the work out of it for you. $400. All right. So we're talking just the four indicators you're looking at. You clearly can see is over $100 that you just seen move on this chart. I'm giving away 300, about 300 indicators, 300 of them. I'm trying to do something. I'm really trying to give the trader the odds that they really need in order to succeed at this. It's not available online. Most of the information online is leading you so far away from what makes sense. Let me show you what the other information look like online. It looks like this. Okay. So again, if you're interested, only if you're interested, you're more than welcome to the indicators. You're welcome to the education. You're welcome to it all. And so they failed through the zone. They responded. We drew our zone up here. We know they're up here. We do know that. All right. So this is how you would handle all of this. Now, notice I didn't draw these midpoints. Notice I didn't draw it in any of this. Okay. I didn't draw it in any of this. That's not it. Let's not do that. Uh, they kind of showed up over here, but they didn't want to respond because again, I know what's happening from up here. I do. I'm not able to tell you guys, but I know there's something happening up here. They were up here. Now, the unfortunate side to this, I think they went past this area. I think they did. Let me get the tippy top of this because I know they kind of reached up and then did that. Well, that might be it, because this pivot, actually both of these pivots, because this pivot is inside of this one. So yes, we could do that. We can absolutely do that because that pivot is inside of there. So let's do that. Let's just bring that up to the top of that pivot. Okay, because this pivot, the one that I had it on, this pivot here is actually still inside of that pivot. So we still need that break. So yeah, so that works. Okay, so let's do this. And again, I don't want to be before you long. But yes, I definitely want to give the trader uh an experience that makes sense. That's all. That makes sense. And give you simple tips on how to look at this stuff. How to look at this stuff. My community, they absolutely know um that there's a signature in all of this. They know it's a signature that they know that they're up here. They know that. And so them coming back up here and then responding like this, my community, my private members, just from well, actually it was a video before yesterday's video that talked about that, that professional signature. We actually cover that for the other people. We deal with this, right? So we actually have, and there's again other details in that video that's not covered with the other videos. I try to give my traders on that side of the fence 1 to 2 rules. Like everything that I tell them is centered around 1 to 2 rules. And there's a lot of price action information in there. A lot of it. Stuff you've probably never even thought of. I'm a chartist. I've been sitting in front of charts for a very long time. And so I didn't learn from it. I learned from the market. I learned from the market, learn how to look at the market. And it's a decision place. That's what the market is, a decision place, because whenever you have a thought, you have the end in mind. And so we're always making decisions here. This is a decision place. And most of the time when people teach content, they make trading complicated because they don't make sure that you understand that it's nothing abstract about it. It's actually what you're doing day to day, making decisions. And so they teach it in a way that's not familiar to you. And that makes trading difficult. The last thing you need to do is to try to learn something that's totally foreign, like a different language. I don't want you to look at trading like that. This is not a different language. This is something that you're always doing. So you're always making decisions. You just need to know where it makes the most sense to make the decision. Okay, and I'm trying to make sure that you're aware that that information is in front of you. So it it's best to make the decision in certain places. Okay, it's best to make the decision with other people that agree with you. you know don't trade against them. So don't be someone that's trying to counter markets without the majority being present. They did respond here a little bit. They stopped, kind of pushed down. We have an increase here and I must go, but I want to say this to you. Most educators, again, they're making it very abstract, making it very difficult for you to interpret the market. We speak roughly about, I would say, 16,000 words a day on average. All right. And so it's really important that we make simple what is in front of us. All right. Without a lot of words, make it simple. And so I'm trying to make sure that I do that for you, give you less to consider, but very important things that you need to grasp. You need to grasp this. And so all the information that's shared in the private community, it, there's different techniques and tactics how to enter trades, price action based stuff. There's some other additional things I throw in there just to make it easier. But price action stuff, 1 to 2 rules. So out of the, I'm only I only made 40 videos because I don't want to make any more videos, but I tried to put as much stuff as I put in my personal training, which is the time. It costs significantly more than $1,000 to do personal training with me, but half off. Again, $500. There should not be any excuse why my community cannot succeed at this, and I do advise you to take your education serious. Try to take it serious. Don't try to get by in a professional environment with free. And again, go with any educator that you prefer. I just know what I'm teaching, and this simple information. If you need the indicators, that's a way of going about it too. Again, this is information that I have put into code. I'm not the best at it. All right, I'm a trader and educator. I try my hand at trying to put some indicators together that's reflective of what it is that I know, and that's important. All right, so if you go grab indications from anyone else that's saying that they can get down to 35, they're saying they can get down to 35. What is our market analyzer telling us about that price? Let's get that. Well, let's get the chart here. That's down at let's say 281. People that code indicators, most of the time, they're not providing you education on how to interpret the indication itself. And so, with the channel here, I'm trying to make available to you what it is that I know about the markets. If you were to go about getting the indications, you'll have a better sense of who's providing the information to you, because that's all indications are, is information. And I want you to be able to trade without them. That's important. I want you to be able to trade without the indicators. All right. But if you elect to get more education, I would strongly suggest go with someone that can tell you what's happening around price before it turns. And then after it turns, there's something else that it does to validate whether or not it'll stay in that direction. Really important information, I must add. Really important. But yes, my indicators, $100, over 300 indicators. If you will like them, again, you get sound files, templates, market analyzer. So you get this. Okay, you get that information there, and it's extremely useful and can serve advantageous. But when it's coming to the overlapping swings, so whenever you're dealing with this type of information, I really would like for you to just consider using majority when looking at this stuff. Don't just be interacting with this stuff without majority. Don't do that. Try to get these areas on the chart. Let me just kind of bring this over here a bit. Try to get these areas on the chart where they showed up. Okay. Where did they show up before? Okay. Where did they show up before? See what they do when they get there. It's a chance they may show up one more time. Okay. They may. It's a good chance that they might do that. All right. As far as this, where did they stop? Let's look over here, and then I must go. They stopped here. Let's kind of put that on the top of that. I know they kind of paused right here. Splitting hairs. If you ran it all the way up here, yes, but right here, let's just go here. That's splitting hairs, but let's see what that looks like, because they stopped this morning. Let's kind of do this. Okay. Yeah. See. Let's bring it even further out. Let's do that. I'm just trying to see where did they stop. Was it majority anywhere near it? Okay, I know there's people that do like to step in front of markets and want to, counter what it's doing. And you can do that. You absolutely can if you want. I think they kind of went through this, but I'm gonna just put this here for the visual effect of it. And every thumbnail that you're seeing on the channel is of a chart that I actually went over. I do want to say that to you. So that's important. All right. So I'm not trying to entice you. That's important. I'm not trying to do that. I want to make sure that you understand that this is a serious business. There's professionals in this field, and I want you to know that. All right. So if you do need additional education, or you would like the indicators, you're more than welcome to them for half off. You don't need them. Everything that I'm providing here on the channel for free could stabilize your trading, but I would strongly advise you don't stop there. I wish you all the best with your trading. Take care.